Hey, this is Warren from Honed by Jones, and I'm about to sharpen this knife on the Tormek T-8 with the original grindstone. This is this is a knife from a local restaurant. I just stopped by. He's a friend of mine who has a little French restaurant, so I stopped by, picked up 5 knives, and I'm gonna sharpen all of them on the Tormek. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about ergonomics and body position. Because one of the things, I'm going to get down on my knee here, one of the things that I have always been I like a lot of stuff. Let me start off by saying I like a lot of things about the Tormek T8. For especially, and Paul from Alexandria Knife Sharpening talked about this in a video the other day, I believe, where he said, one of the great things about the Tormek is because of all of its jigs and clamps and all the different ways you can attach, or different ways you can position stuff on the guide bar. He said it's a really great machine when you have tricky items that you need to sharpen. I just sharpened a Cuisinart style blade for the same restaurant earlier this morning. But one of the things, yes, that's true about the Tormek. It is great for sharpening in general, and especially when you've got some tricky stuff that you want to sharpen. One of the things I haven't liked about the Tormek is the body position and the ergonomics. So, in the manual for the Tormek, which I think I put away already, oops, I'm gonna fall over here. In the manual for the Tormek, they say have it at 29, I think it's like, you want the workbench that the Tormek is sitting on to be anywhere from 29.5 inches, I think it is, to like 30, or maybe it's 29.5 to 32 and 2/3 inches high. This workbench that the Tormek is currently sitting on right now, it's a rolling tool cabinet that my Tormek T8 sits on, is exactly 30 inches high. And when I sharpen on it, I often feel like I am super hunched over, trying to lean. Let me actually put the knife in the clamp so you can see what I'm talking about. So let's put this knife in the clamp. And with this knife, I should be using the extended universal jig, extended universal bar, whatever it's called. It's actually, I don't have one, but it's coming in the mail today. So later today, if I can't make it work on this, if I can't get the angle I want on this, I'll just have to wait until tomorrow morning to sharpen this guy. But one of the things I haven't liked about the Tormek is that I often feel like when I put a knife on here, and I've got it in the clamp, and I've got it on the bar here, that I am hunched over the Tormek in order to be in a good position to sharpen. And so one of the things that I'm going to play around with today is trying to figure out a way to get this raised up just a little bit, even if it's just an inch or 2 or 3. I was thinking what would be ideal with a Tormek, because you can have the bar in this position, but you can also, with the Tormek, oh, you can't see where I have it positioned. So I'm putting it in the other 2 slots. So let me move the camera so you can see. So let me loosen the ball head here and just lower this down a little bit. So now I've got this bar here in the other the other position it can go in. So you can have it there. What I was thinking would be ideal with the Tormek is having one of those desks. I know Paul from Alexandria Knife Sharpening, he keeps coming up in my videos. He has a standing desk, one of the ones that goes up and down. And I was thinking, if you're using a Tormek, because you kind of end up being hunched over it while you're working, and then it's got this other position where you can put the bar in sideways. I was actually thinking that one of those standing electric desks that moves up and down would be perfect for the Tormek machine. Am I going to go out of my way to buy one of those standing electric desks for the Tormek? Likely not. Likely I'm just going to use some sort of support to bring it up a couple inches and see if that generally works well for me. But I think there's got to be a way with this system to put yourself in a position where you're not so hunched over when you're working. Because what I notice, let me put the bars back in the position that I'm going to use them in when I sharpen this knife. And I think with this one, I'm definitely going to need the extended universal extended bar or whatever it's called. So let me put this on here. Maybe I'll be able to get the angle that I need. We'll see. What I want with this system is I want to be in a position where I'm not so hunched over, because what I notice when I'm sharpening on this machine is I instantly, when I start working on the Tormek, can feel the tension in my neck and in my shoulders, and I feel like it makes my arms less smooth as I'm moving the knife back and forth across the grindstone. In contrast, and I think you can see, yeah, you can see my Kalamazoo 1x42. So when I'm working on this machine, I take a nice, wide, comfortable stance, and I'm looking almost, I don't use the Tormek clamp, obviously, when I'm working on this belt sander, but nice, wide, comfortable stance, and as I'm going across the belt here, there's little to no tension at all in my neck and shoulders when I'm working because of how this is positioned. I want to see if I can find some kind of setup like that with the Tormek. So that's going to have to be, when I figure out what I'm going to do, that's going to have to be a later video. But just for today, I kind of wanted to talk about, like, that's the one thing with the Tormek that I find, here I am getting down low again. That's the one thing I find with the Tormek that I struggle with when using it, is that I just find the ergonomics of it aren't that great. If any of you have any suggestions, if you use a Tormek, I think I can stand up and you'll, oh yeah. So if any of you have any suggestions, if any of you use a Tormek, put them down in the comments for me or any other Tormek users. And let me give you a little history too about myself. I was a massage therapist for 25 years. I stopped doing that about 5 years ago. Actually, right around when I started sharpening, because you don't want to sharpen and do body work at the same time. I'm kidding, but I did do massage therapy for 25 years. I was a sports massage therapist and a deep tissue massage therapist. I worked with a ton of people coming out of injuries, coming out of surgeries, to help get their bodies back in shape so that they could do the things that they wanted to do. I also had a ton of, I lived and worked in a university town, so I had a lot of grad students and professors who spent hours and hours leaned over their desk, typing their dissertation or their paper or their book or whatever they were doing, and their neck and shoulders and upper back would have all sorts of issues, and then cause them a tremendous amount of pain and stress. So that was my specialty. So that's why I'm thinking about this with my sharpening machines, is I plan on doing this for years. I plan on being a sharpener for years and years and years, doing everything I can to make my business successful and sustainable, right? I don't want to get to a point where I have a bunch of knives to sharpen and I'm doing really well in business and my business is just cooking along, but I can't sharpen because my neck and my shoulders and my upper back won't allow me to. I don't want to build up my business to a really great level and then have to shut it down because my body doesn't want to do it. So that's why I'm always thinking about ergonomics. It's just another investment that we make, like when we buy a machine, when we buy, a different machine, when we buy, oil to lube a pivot, when we buy cleaners to clean the knives when we sharpen them. All of these things are investments we make. For me in my sharpening business, ergonomics is an investment that I make so that I can continue to sharpen for years and years and years. Anyway, this is Warren from Honed by Jones. I'm going to get to work. Please like and subscribe. Really helps out the channel. I always try to shout out some other sharpeners when I do videos if I remember. So Mike from Sharpen Right Services down in League City, Texas. I think I might have already shouted him out in a video, but he keeps encouraging me to do more videos on YouTube. So Mike, appreciate you. You guys should also like and subscribe. You should subscribe to Mike's channel. Once again, that's Sharpen Right Services. I'm going to shout out my buddy Vinny. He's just a half an hour. He's a sharpener who's like a half an hour away from me up in Reno. He's on YouTube as the Knife Guy Reno. He's got a bunch of subscribers already. He's been on there a short time, and I think he already has like 6,000 subscribers, making some nice videos on there lately. Sam's Mobile Sharpening, another friend of mine. He's up in the Northwest. He has a lot of informative videos and also some ASMR videos of him sharpening. Check out his channel. Subscribe to all those guys as well. I got to shout out Paul from Alexandria Knife Sharpening because I'm just always stealing ideas from his videos. The man is so helpful. So nice that he shows his shop tours, shows how he does stuff. So I appreciate him as well. This is Warren from Honed by Jones, and I will catch you on the flip side later.